Can we all stand for the pledge of the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good evening and welcome to our town council meeting, November the 8th. And as always, could we all just take a moment just to reflect and give thanks in your own way with a moment of silence. Thank you. All right. We call this meeting to order, and our agenda is adjusted just a tad bit. We will be removing item H and I from our agenda. And if the council approves those adjustments to that agenda, the agenda.
And item L also.
I'm sorry, and item H, I, and L? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. All right. If all are in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right, so we'll move on with public comments. Are there any public comments? Nope. Well, thank you all for coming. Now we have a special presentation, and that's the swearing in of our police officer, Spriggs. Make that easy. Is it Capriccio?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, see, I did it right. Oh, and I found your,
He's a law enforcement historian here in the town of Edmonston.
That's wow.
repeat after me. I
I, Capriccio Spriggs,
do swear
do swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and that I will
and that I will
be faithful
be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland
to the state of Maryland
and support the Constitution
and support the Constitution
and laws thereof,
and laws thereof,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my abilities,
skills and judgment,
skills and judgment,
diligently
diligently
and faithfully,
and faithfully,
without partiality
without partiality
or prejudices,
or prejudices,
execute the office
execute the office
of police officer
of police officer
for the town of Edmonston,
for the town of Edmonston,
Prince George's County, Maryland,
Prince George's County, Maryland,
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and laws of the state,
and laws of the state,
the code of Prince George's County,
the code of Prince George's County,
and the code of the town of Edmonston, Maryland.
and the code of the town of Edmonston, Maryland.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's on him.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
All right. So the next item is the recognition of the Halloween Yard Decorating Contest winners. And our winners are not here. So we do have our honorable mention here, and that is 5204 Emerson Street. Now, this home, do you want to describe it?
No, go ahead. I'll piggyback.
The reason that this home is honorable mention is we had 3 winners, but we could not get away from mentioning your home because it was everything. It talked, it booed, well, it was scary. You had all new characters. It was the graveyard. It brought the community together because I think everyone hit your house. And they remember it year after year after year. And even your daughter, is this your daughter? Your granddaughter. Your granddaughter lives in Brentwood, but she loves to come to Edmonston because of the community. And that's what I love about it. So you bring people just out.
Well,
So
that's what we did it for the kids.
yep, and that's the thing. You
Did
say
it when my kids were little, and then they got older and older. So we did it for the good kids.
and that's the beauty of it, and that's what Edmonston is about. It's to bring the community out, and you do that. That's the heart of it. So, and I just stood there for a while and just watched people come in and out. When I was on my way to the rec center, I just watched the kids and the adults come, and I guess your granddaughter came outside and she was clapping and making the thing, do scary things, and it was just awesome. So thank you for what you do to the community, and thank you for leaving Brentwood and coming to Edmonston to do this for us. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. Thank you. So, Ms. B?
Yes, I was amazed. I was impressed, and as the mayor mentioned, the fact that you do this for the youngsters in the neighborhood. We need more people to get involved and reach out to the youngsters. You did an awesome job. I was truly impressed. Mm-hmm. If we could have done a fourth definitely, yeah. we both discussed. We were like, it was like a debate. It's like we have to acknowledge that yard because you guys took so much pride and hard work. Mm-hmm. So thank you so much.
And I know the neighbors did it, and then across the street. And I don't know if they've ever participated across the street. So you're making more and more people.
That's what it's all for.
Yep. So thanks. All righty. So now we're going to move on. This is what we're going to do. So we're going to take all of our minutes. We're going to take a motion to approve our minutes in item A, B, C, D, and E. Is there a motion to approve the minutes in item A, B, C, and D, and E?
I move that we approve items A through E.
I second.
Second?
I second.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Motion passes. Thank you. That was easy. Thank you, Ward 2, for being so creative. All right, the next item is the consideration of award of bid to the low bidder for the construction of 3 rain gardens on Crittenden Street and 51st Avenue in the amount of $10,800 to Professional Lawn Maintenance, and it's part of our CBT grant. Motion to approve?
I make a motion that we approve the consideration of award of the bid to the lower bidder
Thank
for the
you, Ms.
construction
White.
of the 3 rain gardens on Crittenden. That's right. Professional lawn maintenance.
Thank you, Ms. White. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. The next item is, it's a change order, number 1, to Metro Paving Corporation for the Tanglewood Stormwater Project to include a 4-foot PVC pipe. Is there a motion to approve this change order?
I make a motion to consider change
Thank
order
you.
1 to Metro Paving Corporation.
Motion, there's a second.
Second.
That's it.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Was that Mr. Johnson second, or was that?
I thought it was
We'll give it to
It
Mr.
was a
Johnson.
tie.
All right, so the next item is J. Mr. Johnson is making a motion to consider the authorization, well, he's giving the mayor the authorization to sign the letter of acceptance of the grant in the amount of $148,000 from the Chesapeake Bay Trust for rain gardens and pervious curb and gutter on 46th Avenue.
Make a motion that the mayor
Thank you.
sign the grant to the amount of $148,000.
And thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
A second.
no,
I thought it was somebody else.
no, somebody else is seconding.
I'm sorry, it's already done.
Oh, I'll second.
Thank you. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you.
I'll give it to
I
somebody
don't know what
else.
happened. I don't know what happened.
I'm not seconding anything else for the rest of the night.
First year.
No. All right. The next item is K. The consideration of the next item is M. The consideration of purchase of 4 laptop notebooks for the mayor and council members at a total cost not to exceed
$800
$1,000.
Okay.
So you got something
Is
different?
there a
Well,
motion
we
to
subtract one
approve?
there, 199.
So is someone not getting one?
Sarah.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't want one.
I make a motion
I just said not to approve 1,000.
to approve $1,000 to purchase 4 laptop notebook computers.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Alrighty, and Captain?
Okay, everyone should have a copy of the police report. If not, there's someone on the table behind you all underneath the TV. We'll go the short route unless you all need the whole thing read out. The state citations, we had a 1 for stop sign, 1 for seatbelt, 3 registration violations, 6 for driver's license violations, 2 for either cell phone or texting, 1 for speed, and 13 others. Warnings, we had 4 stop signs and 15 others, 3 safety repair orders, and 5 parking citations. We had a cutting the early part of the month. It was involved intoxicated people in a house and broken bottles. We detained people, and previous Corporal Thompson, now Officer Thompson from Bladensburg, also found one of the suspects/victims. PG County detectives were notified, and they didn't seem to want to follow through with it because everybody was so intoxicated they couldn't get a good story from them. Code enforcement, we had 4 animal complaints investigated, 4 building permits issued, 46 citizen contact complaints or assistance, 25 warning notices issued, 8 impounded vehicles, 30 ongoing and follow-up investigations, 4 rental licenses, 3 stop work orders issued, 7 unregistered or untagged vehicles, 22 verbal warnings issued. Starting next week, Nicole's going to be going back to the apartment complex and following up on the inspections. She has approximately 50 to follow up on that they have done some sort of correction. Her and I went down and posted the red house at 4606 Hamilton again. And we're still working on getting contact information and see if we can decide what they want to do with the property. She also spoke with Scott Cohen, who's the owner of multiple lots on 46th Avenue, referenced the sediment and the control issue. We're trying to work things out with them and see how it's going and what we can do to solve those problems. She has already issued 12 notices for broken or decayed fence, and she plans on issuing several more that she has noticed already to either get repaired or replaced. She's also has been issuing warning notices for landscaping. But she told me there's probably another 20 fence that she's going to try to be issuing warnings in the next week or so. So if your fence isn't fixed, you might want to think about it. Camille Lockley, the police clerk, and I attended a class at the Maryland Training Commission for customer service. We both passed with 100. We also attended the training from the MML up at Annapolis. That was very educational. And I was awarded Instructor's Award for training for dated October 2017 from the Training Commission. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you, Captain. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Anything for the captain?
I will get back in contact with you. Donata Bryant has that address, and I'll give that to you if that's the holdup.
Please.
So, yeah.
The red house, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
She knows the owner.
That's great. We're trying from every angle we can
Okay.
find, so that's
By
excellent.
tomorrow, I will have that. I'll probably be too late after the meeting, so I'll call her tomorrow. And
Okay,
get information
just
to you.
email me or call me.
Okay.
I'm off tomorrow, but I'm
Okay,
always
I'll just
reachable.
email. If you're off, I'll just email you.
I'm reachable. Don't worry about it.
I got a question. Excuse me. On the impounded vehicles, is this something that, like, vehicles was in the yard and she went and checked them, or?
That's probably the ones that she's going into the yard, because the officers don't tow out of the yards. So
Oh.
I will clarify that more, because this is the report I get, and that's the best I can answer.
Okay, but the officers don't go in the yard, but by her being a code enforcement, she can go in there and tag a car, right?
Depending on who you talk to, yes. The code allows us to go in and mark a car with a sticker.
Right, okay, okay.
But there's been debate in the previous years about that. But yeah,
I guess only in Edmonston.
well, I'm more than happy to talk to you after the meeting. about
Right,
that.
right.
So what does it mean? Does it mean they can go onto your, like she can go and tag, I guess, put a red sticker?
She
on the
puts an
car?
orange sticker
But
on
they
the
can't-
car.
They can't tow it out the driveway, is that what you're saying? Don't tow it out?
We cannot. I'll be more than happy to explain all this to you after the meeting, because we'll be here all night.
Right.
Okay.
That
Well,
was addressed.
I mean, because I guess if I have that question, a citizen would have that question.
Well,
So can we put it like in the newsletter or something?
we can work on clarifying that.
Yep.
That's something that we need to talk to Sue Ellen about a little bit more.
Okay.
Right. Nothing else, Mayor.
I'm looking at the suicide attempts. Are some of these drug related? Do they fall into that?
Some are drug related. Some of them are just, if we go to a call and someone tells us they want to hurt themselves in some way, we take action to commit them to protect them, as well as protecting the town's interests. Because if we just drive off and they do it, then we're liable. So, yeah, if they, my philosophy and my feelings towards it is if they remotely act or say they're going to hurt themselves in any way, shape, or form, or someone else, they go to the hospital for evaluation.
Oh, okay.
And let the professionals decide whether it's fact or fiction.
Wow.
And it will probably pick up usually around the holidays. It picks up.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'd like to say thank you for following up on the sediment and the work on the Red House, I want to say. And Nicole is doing a good job with the apartments, and then
That's
very good job. Yeah, it's very time consuming, and good that she's following up on that, because there's a certain standard of living, and
I think
Yeah.
her and Stephanie have come to a mutual agreement that we're not there to be mean, just to make things
just
work.
to, yeah,
And
yeah,
new personalities have to work out the bumps.
yeah. She's doing Nicole is doing a really, really good job. I'm glad we have her, that's for sure. Okay. All righty. Mr. Johnson, you have any input? Any input, council dialogue?
Oh, only that I'm still doing the same thing I do, walk around the town, checking on things. Just like this thing happened up on Decatur the other day with the truck. As soon as that happened, I shot the captain a picture of it, and he dispatched the officer to the scene real quick. And he just happened to be right around the corner. He was coming down Decatur. And the person who hit the planter, I think he has like a learner's, and it wasn't a licensed driver in the vehicle with him. So I don't know how they're gonna follow up on that.
He received numerous pieces of paper.
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So, but after Officer Young took care of that, I just left because he was there. I'm not the police, but I get the police there if needed. So, and also, I think I need to not take charge, but be involved with the rec center again, because there are things I notice going on now that I don't really keep an eye on it like I used to. Like past weekends, they had alcohol, but they had an officer on duty. But the time that they were supposed to have the alcohol, there was no officer there. People was outside drinking. So, and I addressed it. Then let them know what was going on, and everything was all right though. Wasn't nobody acting stupid, and mainly was females that was out there doing the drinking. So they just had a jump start on a time that they were supposed to start, because there was no officer on duty, and there has to be an officer on duty anytime you have alcohol. So other than that, everything else is pretty much the same. The had to come back on tomatoes at the garden, but I think they probably freeze up by now. So yours too?
Yeah, we've got a little bit, but
The warm weather tricked them. Other than that, that's about it. With me, anyway.
Miss Sarah?
I didn't have much. I just had a thought about our monthly review over the check register, and wondered if it might be possible at all to sort of categorize expenditures when they're entered into the register, so that we know if it's like public works, if this is general administration, if this is police department, if this is capital expense, like based upon what our budget lines, our budget categories are annually. Because, you know, I mean, we don't know what a lot of these things are when they're just entered. But I think if we at least had a sense of like the categories of spending, then that would help.
I sent it to you today.
The
With that all on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah? Oh, I missed it.
For your input.
Cool. Well, thank you.
If it works, then I'll send it out to everybody.
Yeah. As long. Well, I wanted to ask too. Like, I don't know how much extra trouble that is to do, and so
It just took me probably an hour. Not long. And if I can get smart enough, I can program it into the report on the computer.
okay. Fantastic. Thank you. All right.
Isn't that the same what Sophia asked about months ago? Isn't that the same thing? I mean,
Characterize it.
yeah, like a breakdown.
I may have.
No.
I don't. I don't know. But I'll send it out.
That's a very good idea.
Yeah, and I think it will help you all.
Yeah.
I mean, you get the budget report by line item.
Yeah.
So now the check register, if you wanted to take the check register and apply it to a particular line item, you could, based on what I put on there. So,
Thank you.
just as soon as you say, I'll send it out for everybody to look at. If it is, that's the way it'll come out from here on out.
That works. Yeah. That makes it easier to read.
I have a concern, because I saw in front of my house they painted the no parking, the yellow curb, and then I saw in the weekly report that Public Works painted, but in the check registry there's several entries of payment to Mr. Baltic.
A contractor,
Yeah, close to like
Yes,
maybe
he helped.
over $1,000.
Right.
So who actually is doing the painting? Is the contractor or
All three of them.
all three of them?
Yes.
Okay,
Takes
so
all
Public
three.
Works and the contractor.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Can we get a grant for that? Because that's kind of
Grant.
no.
We do get
For
grant. We
maintenance?
get
For safety.
we get
It's a safety-
$12,000 from
It's a
the
safety
state every
issue.
year to take care of our maintenance of our streets, and that's part of that.
Okay. Okay, yeah, because I was adding it up. It just kept on adding up and adding up.
They did the whole town for that. So,
Okay.
great bargain when you see what we're going to pay just for Decatur Street when we actually contract that part out.
And the only thing, and this would be, and I know the captain, I know we're short staffed, but just something to think about for the future. It's a nightmare at the corner, especially during rush hour, where they have that adult just daycare for the mentally challenged or disabled. The metro buses,
Yeah.
the metro access buses, they're parked there, and then it's a dangerous situation because it becomes one-way traffic. And if you're coming up and you don't, I'm so afraid. I've brought it up before when Chief Walker was here, and it's just a matter of timing. And I would hate for some things for someone to get hurt. Because I know there's a yellow line there, but they don't follow it. And so if maybe you can like let the officers know to keep an eye.
Okay. And when you
yeah.
say rush hour, what time? are we talking?
When I'm going to work in the morning, I usually leave like around a little after 7, and then when I come home, like around, and that's not even rush hour when I get home, like around 3:30, and it's most of the times it's just one way because they're parked right there at that curb.
It's almost all day, actually.
Yeah.
Because
And it's just a matter of them being lazy because there's a parking that can go on the ground.
Yeah. I was
They're just
wondering
being
about
lazy,
that.
yeah.
And I've spoken to the drivers of Metro and told them they need to start putting word out to their depots. And I, between hearing stuff from the Warren Building and the drivers, and I've tried to explain to them that I understand their problems. My parents were both handicapped in wheelchairs, but we're talking a car length's distance. So we'll step up enforcement to the best our staffing allows, but I wouldn't be surprised the people over in your ward, especially that building, will be complaining extensively because they are not very friendly. We've had them come out of that building yelling at us. So, but I'm more than happy to write tickets. It doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah, but if somebody's injured.
Great. I'm just letting you.
Yeah, I
guys
know. I've stopped and given them some looks, but
The manager there is not very pleasant.
Kenilworth and Decatur, that's still a problem too.
I talked to
With that,
the highway department at
Yeah.
Thursday night, and so
That's still a problem. I almost got hit earlier this evening,
he told me to.
and I had to walk. I had to like to walk.
Right. He told me who to send the information to. So
Yeah, because those people, especially when they coming up to make a right on red and you have it, they don't look to the left to see if anybody's in the crosswalk. And that's when I almost got hit, because this car comes speeding up. You're speeding up to get to a red light and you can't go nowhere. That doesn't make sense. So there need to be a sign right there, no turn on red. Because if you got the light that's going to let you cross, there need to be something that stop the car that's coming up to make that turn. Because they don't pay attention to people in the crosswalk walking across. That whole new direction is no good.
he said they'd send out a person to do a study.
She already did it.
Well, I understand.
Who I sent it to?
Johnson did it. I mean, come on.
And I've been
She said
talking
next
about
one.
this for the longest. You know?
Done.
You can send the state your bill.
Yeah, hey, come on now. And I thought it was resolved when they was doing Kenilworth, when they was doing the 201 project. So
They made it worse.
That thing is not.
And no merge lane really doesn't help either.
yeah, right. It's that little corner is ridiculous when it comes to crossing the street. So, something needs to be done about that. And I don't want to be the first to get hit, and then something gets done.
Right. 'cause
You
that's
probably
what-
don't want to be
that's
the
when it
second or third to be
happens.
hit either.
Right.
Since it's been done, I don't know if anyone getting hit. Since they redone the street or something, I don't know if anyone getting hit.
All right. All right. That's fine.
Right, okay. Well, I attended the Port Town Legislative, I don't want to say dinner.
Round table.
That's what it was.
Oh, right.
So round table. And then, well, what's funny is I guess we kept saying dinner. So when when I got there, what I did like was I loved the way the black chairs were set, the whole atmosphere of how it was set up was very nice. It was very, very nicely set up and done. But someone came in and said, "Well, where's the dinner?" Because I think people were expecting. You know why? Because it's
Because
always
we've always had a dinner.
Yeah,
Right.
but had
So
a
they were
box
kind
with
of
them.
expecting kind of that dinner.
Yeah,
thing.
they
So
got a
yeah,
box.
a couple of people kind of made, but I actually liked the way it was set up. But if you're looking for dinner, that kind of wasn't it. But the
Except
food
for
was good.
Sophia was Mr. Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Johnson was Sophia. And
Right.
see that?
Yeah.
it went to the printer right, folks.
It's like the second time.
Yeah,
I
that's
understand.
I started
it wasn't
taking it
perfect.
personally.
It wasn't. It
Last time I was
absolutely.
Sheila, now Mr. Johnson.
It wasn't.
You might want to consider getting print bids.
Yeah, the printer in.
We actually-
print bids.
I didn't realize it, but we actually didn't get a proof back, and so that's why we didn't
Wow.
catch it. But I apologize. I didn't do it on purpose for sure. It left here correct, but every time we moved a picture, it did throw everything out of whack. So maybe that's what happened with the printer. But I apologize.
But it was good. The roundtable discussions. If there was something I didn't like, it was the fact that it wasn't enough time to go to each session. I wanted to do several. I ended up doing the nonprofit, which was very good. I don't remember the lady who.
Cecile.
Cecile. She was the one who was the. I want to say narrator.
Facilitated.
Facilitator, thank you. Facilitator. She was very good. And actually, Delegate Fennell probably ended up kind of taking it over, and she did a good job. She was telling us about she's putting in legislation to give a $1 million grant to nonprofits in Prince George's County. She's introducing that bill. And so she and Reverend Addison, I think, did a lot of the talking about nonprofit, because Reverend Addison has the End Time Harvest Ministries, and they actually talked a lot about the nonprofits in Edmonston. the Eco City Farms, the Community Forklift, and the End Time Harvest Ministry. And Delegate Fennell was saying that we are kind of the poster children for it, and how it works so well here, and how they want to use that to like broaden the nonprofits everywhere else. And so she had an excellent discussion. Kind of wasn't long enough, but it was a very, very good discussion on that. And then I also went to the discussion where they talked about the maglev project. Also another very good discussion. I'd like to go to where they actually will have a meeting specifically for that, because it's very detailed, and it looks like something that would be wonderful for us, but it's a lot of pros and cons, and they kind of talked about it as much time as they had, to talk, because we had to keep moving and have everybody have a chance to come in and listen. But if you have an opportunity, look online and see where the maglev meetings are, because you really want to go.
I think the meeting just got canceled.
Yeah.
I've gone to several,
Yeah, and they've got several
They
more.
have 'em,
Yeah, because everybody, there were some people for it, some people against it. It's
We're going to try to bring it
It's
to
real serious.
Port Towns, maybe our Fort Towns meeting.
One of our
but we're not
meetings,
going to
yeah.
have one
So Leah,
soon,
was there
but we're going to have
was there a
one for-
discussion about where, like, the proposed track would get, like,
Yeah.
where it
They
would
have a
be?
That
map.
came up.
Yeah, they have a map, and it was a lot of discussion about Greenbelt. So I've got, and it's
Glenard.
underground. It's underground, but I know Greenbelt and Glenarden are like some major focus. Yeah, for it.
This is the environmental input. I had a conversation with the Department of Transportation, Federal Department of Transportation. He indicates it'll never happen because of two reasons: the funding, the cost, and two, the right-of-way.
Yeah, they just won't be able to
They-
get all
There's
the
not
right-of-ways
enough
they need.
right-of-way to do it on existing right-of-way, so they have to acquire right-of-way, and so
Interesting.
who's
Yeah.
opposed to that?
And then you have other people that are saying it absolutely will.
Yeah.
So,
It's in the- it's in the-
they said the purple line wouldn't make it either. So
It's in the very preliminary,
who knows?
preliminary stages.
It's very preliminary, yes.
Of discussion.
But it's supposed to be almost all private capital, right?
Correct.
Surrounding that.
Exactly. So
Right.
you don't know, but it's
think the
very
meetings are
interesting
good,
what they talk about.
But just know it's 20 years away.
It's a long time.
10 years away.
I won't be taking. But they also talked about who actually would be using it. I probably wouldn't, because I don't.
Babies.
Yeah, my grandchildren and their children.
Right.
And what
But
you're
they can
using
take their
it.
drone to Baltimore. They don't need their.
See, and what you would be using it for, because a lot of the discussion where they were talking about from the district to Baltimore, and who would be doing it, people that like to go out to dinner or taking a show or those kinds of things, and kind of that's what they would kind of be using it for. And they're looking at high-end salaries, but then the gentleman who talked about it, he said, well, not necessarily that. They did a study, and it wasn't necessarily people that had high-end salaries. So depending on what you wanted to do, you wanted to go from the district to Baltimore. I mean, you're gonna get there in 10 minutes or whatever it is, 15 minutes. Right, 15 minutes. And so some people, you might want to do that because you don't want to drive. I don't want to drive to Baltimore, so I'd say, but I don't think I could afford to do it either. So it was a big discussion on it. I'd like to go and hear.
Yeah, it's
when
really
they
good.
have
Good to
really some
continue to hear
really
what's
detailed.
happening, because they are
information
looking
on
at
it.
right away, and they're
Yeah.
looking at various
It
locations. They have that mapped out already.
It
That's
looks,
fascinating.
I think it's one of those things that'll be pushed. Do you know what I mean? Somebody with money will do it.
Yeah.
Yes, somebody with money will do it. And then the other thing that I want to ask about the Christmas party, the time is 1 to 3 p.m. I'm kind of at work at that time. So is that, can we think about maybe having maybe something for the employees and maybe something for council members if we need to do something like that? Because I kind of don't want to take off work to use my time to, I guess, go to lunch or whatever you call it. And I know in the past, I mean, it's always been, or at least I thought it was evening time. I can't remember.
Since
And
I've-
actually,
Like noon.
Since I've been here, it's been both. One year it was
Okay.
afternoon.
and I think,
one year it
the
was
other thing
night.
is, it's always been later, so it always kind of fell on when we were already out of school.
Since I've been here, it's been the first
yeah.
Friday of the month for 3 years.
Okay.
So
But before that, it was
yeah, it may have been before then, but,
Yeah.
later,
but since I've been here, it's
Yeah.
in the.
So we were usually out of school at that point.
Yeah, we
So
were always-
It didn't matter what day it was
Mhm.
at that point. At that time.
We were kind of able to get, I think, everybody in. But I mean, it's just something to consider. 'Cause we can do 2 celebrations.
We don't do the holidays
okay.
because the employees are gone with their family. So we try to pick at least a week before Christmas, and the week after we don't focus on. So I mean, it can be you folks are the ones, so you can set it anytime you want, or we don't have to have
I
it
don't kind
even.
of remember what we. I mean, I just remember what the roundabout what time it was, but I don't remember how we actually decided on that. I don't remember.
I always thought it was like late afternoon.
Okay.
I mean,
It was. I think it was maybe 3, 4, somewhere around there. I don't remember. I just know it was always. I never had to take off work for it. We just put it that way. I don't remember ever having to do that. So, but like I said, we can have 2 different celebrations. We can. Us folks
and
that work.
at that time, we close the office down.
Yeah, they told me when I came here that was the common occurrence, that it was in the afternoon, they shut the office down, and then after the party, everybody went home. So we did it that way the first year I was here. The second year, you folks wanted to have it at night, so we moved it to night at the rec center, and we set it all up and did the decorating. Since it's kind of for the employees, the employees thought that this time it'd be good to do it away from the rec center and do it in the afternoon, because it's kind of a give me to them as a Christmas thing, and that's the reason it was looked at this year, to have it in the afternoon. But it can be it's you guys, so it could be
Okay, so
any
is
way.
it employee
It's an employee party. yes.
employee and council, or just employee?
No, it's an employee and council's invited. But it's designed, the idea behind it, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, folks, you've got lots more tenure than I, is a thank you to the employees.
Yeah.
The thing about it,
Do you
So the
remember?
council doesn't get a thank you?
Because
I didn't say that. I said
remember.
that
I'm trying to
it
remember what
is,
it was, too.
the council's invited to participate, but it's your way of saying thank you to the employees for the job that they've
Oh,
done
it's
for
our
the
way
year.
of saying thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I noticed each time the employees don't even
ask
show
Bobby.
up. I mean, like you got public works. I don't never
Well,
see
in the
them.
beginning, it was
you know.
remember I was the one that kind
So,
of
I don't know.
So-
fought for us to be included,
Oh, okay.
because I felt as though we should get a little thank you for all of our service that we do
I
over
couldn't
here.
remember.
I'm planning on taking a few hours off from work. My only question is, the kids are going to be in school, so can I bring a +1?
Yeah. We've always invited guests as a person, whoever we wanted to bring.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why is it so far out?
So I have a suggestion about that, because if it's from 1:30 to 3:30 in Crofton, right? Well, no, I guess that'll get us out of rush hour. I was just thinking, I didn't want any of us to be stuck on 50, on a Friday.
The girls went out and did research to find a location, and
Yeah.
that's
Well, I was
the
gonna.
only one they could find that worked, it seemed like, for what they were trying to do. But I mean, we don't.
Well,
was
no,
your
I would.
suggestion?
Well, my suggestion was going to be is that I'd be happy to host a holiday thank you party to the staff and council and the mayor.
You can host one for the council, but the staff wants to go to the restaurant.
Okay, fair enough. Gotcha. Okay,
They want to go away from the building and do something
that's
different.
cool. I get that.
But we would love to come to your house, wouldn't we?
So
I
my
guess.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I've never been to her house, so I don't know. I don't know.
would. I like.
Yeah.
well, but
We'll
Fleeta,
bring potluck.
I guess my concern about if we moved it to later in the afternoon on Friday is that I think that gets us in Route 50 traffic going out to Crofton, which is not something that.
Well, could we extend it
I
where the
love.
staff starts around 1, and then maybe it could be a little bit staggered where we, and the staff don't have to stay until after 3, and then the council can get their.
I thought there was a
Like a room-
problem with the hours and the room times
Oh,
or
okay, the
something
room,
like that.
okay.
I wasn't involved, I
Yeah.
just heard.
So were you involved in the planning?
Yes.
Okay, so could you share with us, please?
I mean, we went around to several venues and based on, we tried to stay within the budget amount that we were given. And that was the only place that had that date and time that could accommodate us, basically. So that's why we chose that location. So I don't know if it's something that we could do later. I know Camille reached out to the owner, and the owner specifically made a menu, that would accommodate us. So I don't know if we can go back and ask, because a lot of the venues here, the later you went to ask for the booking, they wanted more than what we could allocate, towards the event. So that's why we kind of went with the venue in Crofton.
When you say accommodate a group of how many?
I was gonna ask that question.
It's the employees plus 1, and I mean, all of us plus 1. So it was about 30 something.
Will all the police officers be going too? Would they all be going?
Everyone.
Well,
so it
no.
was like
There's-
30.
there's
I'll be in
11
training in Hagerstown, so I can't make it.
There's 11 employees and 5 of you, so that's 16. And so 16 and 16 is 32. So there's 32 people.
Oh, we were included.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone
So
was included plus
they
1.
looked for a location of 32 people. They looked within a budget of $1,000. That's all we have to spend for the whole, everybody,
We went
guests
to Copper
and
Canyon. We went
people.
to several
And
places.
they wanted a private room, not a room that just, not a part
It's
of the
a
restaurant.
private room, okay.
Yes,
Okay,
it's
so
not-
that's, okay.
not a
So that
restaurant.
will work to have it staggered then.
Not a restaurant where you
Okay.
have, a bar that separates the
Right.
people.
And you're yelling.
They
The
wanted an
Jaspers,
actual.
and there's no.
They tried to go.
yeah.
It's kind of a funny story. They tried to go to Sir Walter Riley,
Right, which is in
and the guy died
I was gonna say
the
that's
week
closed, isn't it?
the week that they were trying to
That
set
was a
it
nice
up
place. I love so.
Did you all try
to go
Lido's?
there.
Or nobody was interested in Lido's? Lido's.
Legal.
Anyway, I'll make it work
Lido's.
this year, but I think when we plan next week, we should take into consideration, staff plus council schedule. So, because I think it's a good way to end the year where we give,
We're all there.
we all feel appreciated and, say thank you to each other. But I'll make it work.
Yeah, we'll be coming back in rush hour traffic. Is that what you were saying, Sarah? That we will be coming back in
No, it
rush
should be
hour
fine to
traffic?
come back because it's against the traffic. It's the opposite
At 3
way. But if
o'clock.
we moved it later,
Going.
Then we
the
would
problem.
be-
Yeah.
We wouldn't get there on time.
yeah, like if you have anything
Be a
that's like
struggle.
after 3 on a Friday heading out
Yeah.
Route 50.
So how many council members are planning on going? I'm just curious.
I'm gonna go.
You're going? Okay. I'm going. You're not taking time off.
I'm thinking about it.
I'm thinking, come on.
You know,
End
we're
the
for the
year.
school system.
Mr.
Don't give me
Johnson,
much-
come on. End the school year. I mean, school year. I mean,
Don't give me
end
much time.
school year.
I just say, in case I need it for something.
I know.
You know, them teachers' hours.
So,
Nah,
you have
probably
something
not.
else to?
No.
I'd be happy to take
for
one.
1 year.
I know.
What'd you say?
I'll be happy to take a half day off my job.
I know.
I'd be happy to. I just don't want the work.
If you could pass this on to your constituents and let them know that Senator Ben Cardin is having a town hall meeting.
Oh. Okay.
Did you give
Oh,
them?
No, I'm
he's having
fine,
a
thank you.
town hall meeting
I'm good, thank
on
you.
the 18th, Saturday the 18th,
I'm
from 1 to
moving
2
that day.
p.m. He's going to have a discussion about tax reform, healthcare, immigration, and gun safety. And it is going to be at
Public place, land.
in Lanham, the IBEW Local 26. And that's Saturday, 1 to 2 p.m., the 18th of November.
This is there to pick up the turkey.
And that's in 4371 Parliament Place in Landover, Maryland.
It's close by.
So if you could just pass that on.
So the tax reform question makes me think of something. Do any of you know if, so part of this tax reform bill that Congress is considering eliminates the exemption for state and local income tax for your deductions when you do your taxes. So in places like Maryland and Prince George's County, where there's kind of like a higher income tax that you typically pay to state and local, that it's tantamount to a tax rate, a tax increase for all of us. Is the Maryland Municipal League, are there entities that are getting activated over this to try to fight against it? Because it would raise the taxes of everyone in our community.
That's a good question to ask.
Okay. I didn't know since you're the immediate past president of MML or...
That's a good question for us to ask.
I think somebody who might be able to answer that might be Joseph.
He's
Because
not with the league, that's PGCMA.
I know, but it was some of the things that they were doing before he even got on. Before he became president, I know they used to always talk about that. That was me. So I was thinking maybe he might be a good person, to ask him.
Probably with PGCMA.
Yeah, I mean, it's
but
meant
she
to
means with the
penalize
league,
people who live in more heavily taxed local communities like we do. So, okay. So who should Joseph? Head of PG and
I'll check with the league.
Check with the league.
that'd be awesome. Thank you.
I'll check with them and see if they have their legislative committee looking at it.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I wasn't invited to participate on it, so. But sorry to interrupt you, but I feel
No,
like
that's good.
this is something that's going to
good.
affect all of us. So,
Yeah.
assuming it passes, which is difficult.
No. Yeah. And speaking on the legislative dinner that we had, which was really good. It was different. I was disappointed that our legislators from 22 did not show.
There was a lot of people
But
missing.
it was an awful lot.
A lot of people missing.
47 did show, and I thank them and appreciate them. But a lot of our other legislators did not. But it was still pretty good turnout. And it was very different. And thank you, Mr. Barnes, for your hard work and leadership on the legislative committee. But I think it's something that we definitely should continue, because the roundtable discussion was really good, and Ms. White's comments just really showed that, because you had a chance to really have that good discussion and get a good understanding. And I think they really missed out on an opportunity to talk to their constituents and the mayors, and just to really get that good feedback. And at the end, I don't know if you stayed, but at the end, we had a great discussion about race, and really, really good feedback, and something that they said they wanted to continue. Got an email from Denise, and another email from council members from Como Manor, saying that was just really a good discussion and something that we should really kind of continue to have. People were really free in their conversation with it, and it was political, it was passionate, and it was a good way to end the night, I think. Wouldn't you agree that was really
Absolutely,
a good?
yeah. I think, it was a brand new format. Mayor James proposed, along with Mayor Gant and Sadara, and they worked really hard to put the format into play. And so I think there is some tweeting because the attendance dropped, but we only invited 70 people. We didn't invite 150. So that dynamic changed. We had about 40 there. So that was pretty good for the first time in terms of that format change. So you ended with the conversation that everybody enjoyed. We're going to shoot out now the information that happened and work on those items that came up and continue to have dialogue. So
And
it
we
was
had great local facilitators.
it was
Dr. Bottoms.
Yeah,
It was really.
I think the box dinner, Salita, like you said, was a little bit of a shock. I think
They
people
were
would
on a
have
hot
preferred to have a
It was a little
hot
shock.
You
meal.
said Mayor
But it wasn't
James,
the way-
they haven't switched out yet?
When this was all
Mayor
planned,
James
Mayor
and Mayor-
James
yeah.
was, yes. The new
No, I'm talking about.
No,
But,
Yes,
she's
Mrs.
Mayor
James.
Mayor
James.
James.
Oh, okay.
Mayor James.
He
Mayor
got up and
James.
introduced himself as the first husband.
He
Mayor
did.
James. Mayor
Very
James.
cute.
now, it kind of threw me off when you said Mayor James.
No,
I'm like,
that
well,
she's
I
Mayor
thought they
James.
had-
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
Former.
well, I knew
current.
She's Mayor
it
James.
kind of like threw me off a little bit.
Yeah.
Mayor James. Okay, well, I had another something I wanted to mention, but I forgot what it was. About that dinner. Okay.
This
well, that's-
Saturday, you asked Sophia.
Oh yeah, the time. I thought there was the veterans celebration. I mean, memorial service was going to be at 2. So Mr. Barnes was saying maybe that you changed it from 2 to 1.
We changed it. What, last week?
Several weeks ago when
Yeah.
it started being planned.
Who's we?
When we put it on the email.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and I responded back saying, originally when Rod sent out the email, I said that time works for me. The date and time works for me, but I was
You did
referring
say
to
that, and
2 o'clock.
I
yeah.
emailed back and said
Oh, you-
1 o'clock. Mhm.
Oh, okay. My phone has a.
I emailed back and said, what about 1?
Okay. And who agreed?
I didn't get that.
Nobody
so I don't know.
disagreed.
Okay.
I didn't see
Nobody
it.
commented back.
Oh, nobody did.
But
Okay.
Mr. Barnes,
No, I think I might have said I don't care anytime
yeah.
go with me.
yeah.
Because that's how I usually respond anyway.
Or a thumb or something.
I'm
Yeah.
always anytime's good with me. You
Yeah.
know?
So we said,
Where'd you find those
1.
thumbs?
Yeah.
You don't have the emojis?
I have it, but I don't have the thumbs. Maybe I'll look through
That's
again.
right,
I don't know.
that should be right there.
You can change
Ah.
the thumbs up. You can change
It's
the race of your thumbs up.
Oh,
You
okay.
just have to be.
I didn't hear a
yellow.
no or any more
Yeah.
conversation that it wasn't going to work.
So it's gonna be from 1 to 3. Okay.
And I don't care what time y'all, any kind of meeting, I don't
gonna
care
be
what time
cold.
you give. I'm like, yeah, it's all right
No.
with
It
me.
must be nice to be retired.
Yeah, I think that helps. Huh?
Bladensburg's having theirs at 11 o'clock at Peace Cross if anyone wants to attend.
Yeah.
Chief Stone's invited everyone.
Yeah.
11 o'clock.
I saw that on the thing too.
This is yeah, I remember the 11. And then that come up. Yeah, that would be a good one because that's a big issue about that Peace Cross.
That's it. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna
I
ask
was
about
trying
did
to
you all
remember
discuss that?
what I
yeah,
was,
the round table.
the
That's
second
supposed to be-
thing that I had to mention. So, Peace Cross. So everyone knows the issue with Peace Cross.
Yeah.
That they'd like to remove it or
They have to.
Remove.
cut off
They
the
actually
arms
won.
or
Whatever they did, they won.
whatever it
Whatever
is
it was.
to it.
Yeah.
There is an article in the Prince George's Sentinel about it, and the
Bladensburg's
governor
having
is
a-
trying to stop it.
and
And
Bladensburg's having a meeting tomorrow night.
Yeah.
But I thought that was settled
Court system.
at that one of our quarterly meetings. That lady was in there talking about it and whatnot. I thought the thing was settled then.
Well,
No,
she
they-
was talking about it. She was talking.
Yeah, but I thought
Yeah,
they
they had
went
to settle.
forward and everything was settled.
But Bladensburg
Yeah.
lost the
Yeah.
They,
suit.
yeah, they still had to have. The
Bladensburg
suit still had to
didn't-
go
Yeah.
on.
Bladensburg didn't lose. Maryland National Capital
Maryland
Park and
National-
Excuse me.
Planning
Excuse
was
me.
the
yeah.
party to the suit that was from the organization that sued, and they
Yeah.
lost.
The atheist group.
No, ACLU.
Huh?
No, it was actually a.
The atheist group.
I think
Yeah.
the ACLU was representing them.
Oh, okay. And so Bladensburg is having a community meeting tomorrow night about it to give information and to take input back from the public on the options that could or
Oh, okay.
They'd like as many.
to look at so that they can
As they
present
could, yeah.
back to Maryland National Capital Park and Planning. Maryland National Capital, the whole Park and Planning owns the land where the cross is, and so it's their final decision ultimately what they'll have to comply with the court ruling. But I think what Bladensburg and everyone else would like to do is give them as many options and try to encourage to be able to keep it there.
So let me understand: is the ruling that the cross has to come down?
Correct.
Okay.
Or,
It's on
or-
public property.
Even
be
if
moved.
even if it's on their property.
It's not their
As long as it's on
property.
public
I mean,
property.
Public's property.
It's public property, yeah.
It's on Maryland National
Yeah,
Capital
park-
Park
park,
and Planning
right. It's-
property, and that's public property,
Oh,
and you
okay,
can't
okay.
have a religious,
Right.
and they declared it to be a religious
'Cause
artifact,
because it's a
even though
cross.
everybody argues that it's a memorial,
Right.
not a cross, to the, it is a piece, a memorial to
It's-
the World War
So
I
if they change the
veterans.
memorial to something different.
It's kind of hard to say it's not a cross when you look at it. It's,
Well, it is
it's
a
a
cross.
cross.
Well, but
You
it
know?
has
But
accoutrement.
Yeah,
even though it has
exactly
its,
like what-
even though it
what
has
I
its
even
meaning,
think of a-
even though it has its different meaning, but to look at it, it's a cross.
But it has
It's,
accoutrement.
and what do they call
Make
it?
it different.
Peace Cross. So it's still a cross for either way you
They
look at
changed
it.
the name to Peace.
Yeah, the only thing you
Well,
know, the
maybe they
only
can
way you
modify
can
the
save it
shape,
is you cut,
maybe they
if you
can-
cut
yeah, maybe they
extending
can
arms
modify
off,
the
and
shape.
it becomes like the monument. Reshape it like the monument, and put the wording on it. That's the only way you can save it.
Yeah.
Because
I
it's
like
go-
that
it's
idea.
a cross.
Modify
They
it.
have to reshape it, yeah.
Modify
No,
it.
you can't do that.
They
Why?
have to-
At least then you
If it, okay,
it's
it's
not a
either
monument,
if
it's
it
a
has
monument.
to go,
Okay.
What time is the meeting? What time is the meeting?
make it like a monument.
Yeah, go to the meeting.
What
I
time
think
is the meeting?
I'll find out and let you know,
Yeah,
but I
please,
think
yeah.
it's like
It's
6:30.
gonna be a healthy debate. So yeah, it's gonna be
I'll let you know.
yeah.
Tomorrow? Is it tomorrow?
Yep, tomorrow at Bladensburg. But you
Oh,
can't.
high school?
You can't. 6:30. 6:30.
At Bladensburg High School?
No,
No, town hall.
their
Town hall. Oh,
It's
okay.
gonna be packed.
But I
Yeah.
just want to say you can't dismantle it. There was an artist that did that.
Well, build it different.
No, no, you do
Hey, you're
not.
taking out statues
Do
anywhere
not
else.
change an
Yeah,
artist's
move it
work.
somewhere
else.
That's disrespectful. So
No, no.
if you
I
were an
said
artist
just
and you
build
did
it
that work,
different. Build a new one.
you move it or build a different one.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yeah. I can see that. Okay, so as we move on,
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, 'cause we
Mike,
should have been out here.
Is that something you had to say? Was there a?
Oh, I make a motion that we go into a closed session
Oh, forgot about that.
For the purpose of,
for the purpose of personnel issues.
And will we be adjourning? Will we be coming back out of that closed session into a regular meeting?
No,
No.
So we won't be coming back out.
no.
My cheese.
So,
We probably will come back out.
so do we
So,
need to?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll just, so you're just making a motion to go into a closed session?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Who's second?
We tied again.
Mr. Johnson.
So, Mr. Johnson,
Seconded it.
Ms. White made the motion, Mr. Johnson second. All in favor to go into closed session, please say aye. Aye. All right. Go into closed session, we'll come back out to regular session. Thank you.
Cheese.
You can.